Telltale signs that you're a beta male. I am making this video because of a situation that I had a few days ago. So bear with me, but I wanted to kind of gather my thoughts together under the umbrella of a video and explain to you guys what the telltale signs of a beta male are, right? A lot of men who are beta males don't realize that they're beta males. I don't even believe in the term alpha, beta, sigma, all of that bullshit. But in order to make the explanation of what I'm trying to describe more clear cut, I'm using those terms. What I really mean is that you're not an assertive male. You're not dominant. You might think you're dominant by huffing and puffing, but you're really not dominant when push comes to shove, right? And there are so many guys like this that just go through life thinking that they're an alpha, quote unquote, alpha male, that they're in charge. But when you observe them, how they interact with other people, how other people interact with them, you really start to realize that they're not in charge. They're not leaders. They're not alpha males. They're nothing. They're literally followers. You know, I guess the term that we're looking for here, because the terms alpha, beta, sigma, all of those terms are bullshit. We're talking about who's a leader and who's not a leader, who's dominant in a group situation, and who's not dominant in a group situation. And there's a lot of men who think that they're dominant, but they really are submissives. The first thing I've noticed from these submissives is that they're always coping. Submissives can never take accountability for their actions. They're damn near females. They never take responsibility for their actions. They always have some sort of excuse. Oh, I couldn't get to the meeting in time because of ABC situation. Oh, I couldn't finish the task because XYZ happened. Oh, that guy beat me in that fight because I didn't get enough sleep. They always have an excuse. My girl cheated on me because always have an excuse. They always have an excuse. They can never just say the problem is with me. Oh, I tried to approach that girl and she rejected me, but it's because she's a hoe. No, dude, it's because you're weird. That's why. They're always coping. And when they find the person who's a true leader, right? A guy like me, you know, I've had multiple of these followers come to me talking about, oh, Scott, you're actually weak. Scott, you're this. Scott, you're that. But my actions speak for themselves. You're not anybody. You're literally a bug. You're an insect. You haven't done anything. Nobody knows who you are. You haven't led anybody. A real alpha male, as you would call it, is a person who leads. Alpha male is not the guy who stands at the top of the hill beating his chest and nobody follows him. Nobody does what he says. He doesn't have any girls. He's just talking loud. That's not being an alpha male. That's being an idiot. That's being a fool. And a lot of people will want to judge me because, oh, look at this guy, his voice. He has a thin voice. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? I've always said, like, yo, these guys that judge a book by its cover, it just shows me that you're not leadership material. You couldn't lead shit. You can't lead shit. I don't even know what to say. I want to say something funny, but I can't even think of anything funny. You're just not a leader. You can't lead shit. You can't lead shit. These guys, man, these fucking guys, they're always coping. And you know what's funny? When they're coping, it's not just coping with excuses as to why they're failing. It's also coping when they see another person leading and being successful. If they see you with a girl, oh, he got his girl because it's probably because he has money. That's a telltale sign that you're a follower beta male. You can never just, think rationally and give another person their props and observe them to see if your deductions are real. No, you come to the conclusion, oh, that guy got a better girl than me because of money. That guy's popular because he has clout. That guy's successful because of his family. They can never just sit back and think like, you know what? Let me give this nigga his props. Let me observe this person and see what they're all about before I open my mouth and come up to a conclusion that's not based on anything real. But the reason that they do that, the reason that they jump to a conclusion that's not based on anything real is because in their mind, they cannot comprehend how another person is beating them at their own goals. They can't comprehend, oh, I want a supercar. This guy got a supercar. How'd he do it? It must be a rental. I want a girl. I can't get a girl. he has a girl. How do you get the girl? Oh, he must have got her because he has money. I want to get a good job, but I can't get one because I'm a lazy bum and a loser. How do I get one? Well, how did this guy get one? He must know somebody who works at the company or something and they let him in. They can never just say the problem is with them. They always have to think that the other person has some sort of shortcut. The other person took some sort of shortcut. And the truth is that that's a projection. They're projecting how they feel about themselves onto another person. They're thinking to themselves, I couldn't get that job unless I had somebody in there that would get it for me, industry plant. I can't get that girl without money, so they must have used money. I can't get the supercar, so that must be a rental. It's a projection. And every time I encounter one of these people, either haters or trollers or just general losers that want to say a bunch of stuff about me, the first thing they say is something stupid like that, and it automatically lets me know this person is not a leader. This person is a follower. Because a leader doesn't think like that. When I meet another person who's in a situation that's better than mine, I never think, oh, this person took a shortcut. This person did this. This person did that. I sit back. I analyze the situation. I analyze all the chips on the board to try to really determine what they did that made them successful. You know, I have friends that are super rich and I have other friends that hate on those friends. Ironically, those people hating on those friends are always below them. It's never somebody on the same level as the people that they're criticizing. And they say, oh, this person's a scammer. And I try never to agree with them when they say that because I think to myself, are they really scamming? Who am I? And if they are scamming, hey, that still has a little bit of merit because how are they smart enough to trick other people? What do I need to do to get to the level that this person's at? I don't diminish their merits. I don't diminish their accomplishments to make myself feel better. I try to figure out what they actually are doing. But that's something a leader does. You know, a leader is able to evaluate the situation and come up with a strategy, a game plan. A follower is not. A follower just jumps to a conclusion instantly and says, oh, we can't do it because this person has a cheat code. It's a telltale sign. You know, it's a telltale sign. And I know for a fact, that when men go to another man and say that's a rental just off the bat without even thinking about it is because that person is a fucking loser that has never accomplished anything in their life. When that person says this guy got a girl because of his money without seeing it. Now, it's a big difference if you see the guy being a simp and paying for everything. That's different. You can say, okay, I see it. He's doing it. He's doing the thing. I can call it out. Akash Shine, I hate to throw him in here, but you see him doing the thing. Paying all the bills, buying her random gifts, being a simp. But if you haven't seen the person do that, you can't just jump to the conclusion and say this person is a simp. This person, his girl is a gold digger and he's just paying all her bills. You sound like an idiot. You sound like an ignorant idiot. When I see a guy who's more chopped than me walking down the street with a baddie, I never, ever, ever assume, oh, that girl's with him for his money. It don't matter if the nigga is dressed all in Louis Vuitton. I'm still not going to say he's there for the money. I always think this guy must have something that she wants. Personality. Maybe he's a smooth talker. Maybe he's interesting. Unless I see the person actually actively being a simp, I never just write it off as simphood. But that's because I'm a real leader. The other thing is, another telltale sign of you being a follower, not a leader, being a quote unquote beta male, is trying to be the loudest voice in the room, trying to be the loudest voice in the room, trying to be Mr. Tough Guy. How many times have we not seen somebody trying to be Mr. Tough Guy? And then the real tough guy shows up. The real tough guy's not saying anything. The real tough guy's just sitting in a corner looking. He's just like, I don't know what these guys are all about. But this guy who's trying to be the tough guy, yelling and talking and bravado, approaches the real tough guy who's just nonchalantly sitting, joking around, and he does some slick shit to him, and all of a sudden he gets his ass handed to him, right? Because the real tough guy, the real leader, he doesn't need to be the biggest voice in the room. He doesn't need to be the guy, hey guys, let's all go over here and do this. And it's always funny to me because the guy who's like, hey guys, let's go over here and do this, Nobody ever actually does what he's saying to do. Let's go here, let's go there. And they just look at him like, who the fuck is this guy? That's not how this works. Like, I think that a lot of these guys that try to pretend to be the alpha, the leader, they get these characteristics they've seen in movies and TV. That's not how it really works. You can be the guy who's loud and tries to be that guy, and nobody's going to listen to you or respect you. In fact, you're actually putting yourself in danger. The real alpha male leader, tough guy, is not saying anything. And also, you don't need to be a giant 250-pound guy to be the alpha male tough guy. You'd be surprised how many scrawny, tiny, little guys are pretty fucking tough. And they will put down a giant fight. You know, I was having a conversation about this and it didn't dawn on me in the time, but in retrospect, it has. Perfect example, Sneeko. You know, our boy Sneeko, he got in a fight with Strickland. Strickland is a fucking MMA professional. And anybody who saw Sneeko walking down the road with his little suit on, with his little camera vlogging would say, this guy's a loser. This guy's a nerd. This guy's a wimp. But Sneeko went into the ring with Strickland and he didn't fucking back down. He didn't cower out. He put up a fight. Strickland might have handed it to him because he's a professional, but he didn't back down. But the problem is that a lot of these fake alpha males, fake leaders would see a guy like Sneeko and they would try to press Sneeko. And what would happen? Sneeko would probably beat their ass. And then they'd be like, oh, they'd have excuse. After that, they'd have an excuse. Oh, man, he got me because I had already injured my arm. Oh, he got me because, like, shut up. You're not who you think you are. You're not him. You're a bug. You're living in Bug's life. Seeking validation through intimidation that doesn't even work because everybody knows you're a fucking paper tiger. You're weak. The reason you're presenting yourself that way, the reason you're trying to be Mr. Tough Guy, Mr. Macho, is because you're scared. You're actually scared. That's a defense mechanism. Literally a defense mechanism. I'm going to be the biggest in the room, the toughest in the room in order to scare everyone out so they don't approach me, so nobody fucks with me because I'm scared. And, you know, to a certain degree, it works. Some people really do think, oh, man, let me not mess with that guy. But in most cases, that guy, the guy who's trying to act big and macho and tough, even the weakest person in the room can beat his ass. He's just pretending. He's just pretending in order to avoid conflict. It's a conflict avoidance strategy. The other thing is that these people that are trying to be the alpha male, they're never comfortable with themselves. They're always playing a role. They're trying to be somebody else. They're pretending to literally be somebody else that they think is cool or that they admire. And in their minds, in the real world or on the internet or wherever, they think that they're embodying that role of another person. They can't just be themselves. In fact, it makes them afraid to be themselves. They're scared of being themselves. They're scared of being themselves because they know that they don't got it. They're not him. They're not interesting. They're not funny. They're not smart. They're not intimidating. They literally have no skill sets, nothing that makes them favorable to other human beings. They're empty shells of human beings that have no purpose at all. Their only purpose is to follow. They're a cog in the machine. And I hate to say it, we do need people like that. We need those people that are cogs in the machine. But the problem is that they don't realize that they're a cog in the machine. They think that they're the machine. They think that they're the machine when in reality, they're nobody. They'll see a guy like me who actually has led people, who actually has people who listen to me, who actually have people who care about my opinions, who respect my opinions, who will follow me into the fucking threshold. They'll look at a guy like me and say, oh, this guy is weak. Because what? Because I'm thin, because I don't have giant fucking muscles. Don't have giant fucking muscles. Because I wear an extra small t-shirt, according to some. They'll look at me and say, oh, this guy's a quick lick. They'll look at a person who's confident in themselves, who doesn't have a scarcity mindset where I'm being defensive because I'm afraid that people are going to take from me. I'm open to other people. I joke around. I don't take myself so serious. I laugh at jokes. I'm friendly, Because people misinterpret friendliness, politeness for being a quick lick, for being sweet. And those people are stupid. Those are the kinds of people who get hurt. They actually get hurt because they approach the wrong guy. They approach the guy who's funny and laughing and joking around and charismatic. They approach that guy thinking that they can get one on him because they're like, oh, this guy's an easy lick. This guy's jolly. This guy's sweet. And then before they know it, that guy pulls out a fucking knife and blows their fucking brains out. Because they don't know the lethality of the individual. They judge a book by its cover. And the thing is that a lot of the times, the most friendly, flamboyant, funny, lackadaisical person, chill guy who's just joking around and he's okay with being the butt of the joke because he's confident in himself. Sometimes that person might have real deep-seated anger issues. And, you know, they just relieve that anger by making jokes and being friendly. But then you fucking do some shit to that guy and that guy loses his shit and he fucking unleashes that fucking anger on you. And before you know it, you're dead. Because you don't know that person. You're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. Anybody who's really been in the streets knows the guy like that. Everybody knows a guy like that, man. The guy who's in the gang, but he's chill. You wouldn't even know he's in there. He's laughing. He's having fun. He looks friendly. He's giving niggas drinks. He's joking around. People were joking with him and shit. Catch that guy in a bad mood. It's GG's for you. But these weak men, they go by appearances. That's the problem. They go by that superficial. They think this shit's a fucking movie. It's not a movie. It's real life. In real life, a smart person, a real leader, a smart guy is not going to reveal all his cards to you. He's not. He's going to be smiling until he comes up to you and hits you with a hot one. Or if he's a real douchebag, he's going to wait until you turn around and hit you with a hot one. You don't know this guy. You don't know what anybody... The truth is, guys, you don't know what anybody on this planet is capable of. Only a fool reveals all his cards. Walking around, I'm Mr. Tough Guy. Don't mess with me. How many times have you seen the tough guy get gunned down for being the tough guy? That shit doesn't mean anything, bro. The other thing is that these followers, these weak men, are always glazing other men. I don't know if they realize it or not. Maybe it's self-conscious, you know. This is another telltale sign of you being a beta male weakling. You glaze other men. You don't realize it. I really don't think they realize it because I've talked to them and I've been in arguments with them and I hear them talking and they don't realize when they're glazing other men. Oh, how dare you talk about my favorite sports team? How dare you talk about my favorite content creator? How dare you talk about my favorite actor, my favorite athlete? And they really get angry and defend that person. It's because you're a follower. You're a follower. You're defending brands. You're defending musicians. You're defending athletes. You're defending actors. You're getting real deep down in the trenches, getting angry. This guy is hating on my friend. You're a follower. A real leader doesn't care about anyone else other than themselves. They're not following anyone. They don't care. They're not glazing anybody. They're not defending a team. They're literally individuals. That's why they're leaders, because they're an individual and other people follow them. Other people care about their opinions. And that's the reason why nobody knows who you are either. Most of these freaking fake alphas, nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows who you are because you're not interesting. And this is why you don't get girls. And this is full circle here. This is why you don't get girls, because you're not interesting. And so you think that since you're not interesting and you can't get the girls you want because you don't have anything to give to them other than money, that the guy who actually is a leader, who actually has charisma, who actually is interesting, who actually has people who are interested in his opinions, who actually has interesting stuff to say, you think that that person is like you who needs money. But what you really don't realize is that you're lame. You're nobody. You're lame. You're boring. You're ordinary. You don't stand out. There's nothing special about you at all. You're just another bug in Bug's life. Another bug in Bug's life. Don't compare yourself to greater men. That's my takeaway from this video, guys. I hate to be a douchebag. I hate to be an asshole, but that's the truth. If you're one of these weak men, if you fall into one of these telltale signs of being a freaking follower beta male, don't compare yourself to greater men. Get your stats up. Level up your charisma, your personality, all of that stuff. Because what you don't realize is the reason a guy like me has money is not because, oh, I got some special fucking cheat code. No, it's because of my intellect, my charisma, my personality, me, the real me. And that attracts wealth and success and girls. I don't need to have money to get the girls because I have charisma. I'm not like you. You're an afraid person. You're afraid to be yourself. You're afraid to be real. You're afraid to be honest. That's another thing. Whenever I meet girls, I'm 100,000% honest. When I was single, I would just walk up to them and tell them what I want. No ifs, ands, buts about it. When I went on a date with someone, I would just be myself. And I never mentioned any of the material stuff at all. I was just being myself, nonchalant, not giving a fuck. But you, on the other hand, do give a fuck. That's the problem. You actually give a fuck. You think you don't. You think you're some sort of tough guy, but everybody around you can see that you give a fuck. You're coping. Again. You're chronic disappointment to everyone around you. You haven't accomplished anything. Nobody knows who you are. And you're going to stay that way. Irrelevant. You'll be in the shadow of greater men, looking up at them, glazing, defending them, being a minion. You're just another ant in the ant army. You'll never amount to anything. And guys like me will laugh at you. And I'll continue laughing until the end of time. Anyways, I just had to get this off my chest. Don't be a follower. Try to be yourself. That's the first step. The first step is to just be yourself. Be yourself and the rest will come. Unless you're really, I don't know. If you're too old, it might be too late. But if you're still young, if you're in your teens, early 20s, you can still recover. Be yourself. Get some fucking hobbies. Get your fucking stats up. Level up. Don't follow other people. Don't glaze. And there might be some hope for you. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to expand on this topic, because I actually have a lot that I want to say about this. I really do. I just didn't want to make this video too long. So anyways, I stream every single day, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.